obviously no swearing allowed. No.
You're gonna have to bleep me because there's no way I'll remember that.
Yeah, the only thing we didn't tell you is that this is actually a kids show.
That'd be awesome. All right, be entertaining. Go.
Go.
Brought you all the way over here.
I feel like it's just entertaining for Capri. I just have to like put on a movie.
Oh my god, this
That's
is
where-
a loud ass chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to not move.
They're all pretty shitty, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of them are missing some
we go.
screws. I need to
Are those
finish
IKEA?
chewing.
What's that?
They are.
You need a question? No. Okay.
they-
This is not a question, but this is something that I desperately need human beings to back me up on. I've never found someone who is as passionate about this as I am. So you know how English is kind of a fucked up language, and there's and everyone points out all the weird things about our language. The worst one to me that drives me absolutely nuts is the spelling of dessert and desert.
Yeah.
Because dessert should be desert, right?
Mm-hmm.
Single consonant makes the hard vowel. See, I hate you all so much already.
Because we're not being immediately right.
Are you not seeing
Rules
it?
well enough.
I'm
didn't-
sorry.
hard consonant. I don't know what that means.
No, so, okay, so like if you're gonna like read a word
Right.
and there's a vowel
Got it.
and then there's a single consonant
Yeah.
and then another vowel, usually that first vowel, it makes the, like think of
Oh yeah, give me another word as an example.
like Matt, M-A-T-T-E versus mate, M-A-T-E.
Okay.
Wow, yeah, if you don't already know that, it's so disappointing. Fuck this whole thing. Go home.
Bye. Goodbye.
Yeah, so no. Anyway, that's the thing in the English language is that if there's the single, and you would, like if I wrote a word for you, you would instantly use that
I believe it,
rule
yeah.
But
to-
the fact that
to
you
read
expect
it.
there to be like any logical rules that you can depend on, like you don't understand English.
No, I know, but we do have that rule.
Not really.
But then,
don't you
but then
remember
we
your
have
mom's
the-
shirt that has like the I before E, except if you're a
Weird
something receiving
neighbor?
yeah, it's like, and then it's all these examples of breaking the rule. It's just like that, I think.
Yeah, no, it's not just like that. it's different than that. Oh,
You just remember
Really
you
sorry.
always
It's
want
okay.
more dessert. 2 S's.
Someday
Yeah,
I'm gonna find the
that's-
person who's like, yes, I've always
Oh
thought
yeah,
that.
for sure.
And then you can send us a video of them and
I'm
you'll
sure
be
you're not alone in
validated.
it.
Yeah.
And that when
Sorry.
it comes down to it, that's how I always remember it as well.
Yeah.
Is like you only want one desert, but you always want 2 desserts. And
Yeah.
that's why there's 2 S's, and now I'm 38 and I still have that same.
Yeah, not to
rule.
brag, but I just kind of remember it. I don't know.
I was just gonna say, like, I kind of just remember it too. One looks right, one looks
Like
wrong.
affect and effect, it's like I don't know. I just memorized
I
it.
forget like what's the
Okay,
difference though.
affect is like the verb.
Okay.
And effect is the noun. I don't know. I just memorized that. There's no other like method.
Yeah, I think I use that correctly, but I'm never confident.
Yeah.
Well, I usually default to the E, but every once in a while I feel like, oh, I think this is an A effect, and then I'm always a
Yeah.
little nervous that I'm screwing it up.
I've stopped using both of them completely, and I just use impact instead, and
nice.
that way, like,
For both
Oh,
uses?
yeah.
yeah, I
'cause
just
it's-
use the word impact instead, and then just get on with my life, and I feel like I'm a happier person because of it.
I like that technique.
Yeah.
Does anyone feel like they can confidently, like if I gave you pen and paper right now and said, go, spell restaurant?
Oh yeah,
You have that down?
Restaurant.
Yeah, I've never,
Always.
ever got that down.
I struggle with where is the
Restaurant.
A and where is the AU?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Which,
that's-
I mean, it makes restaurant.
Oh, wait, it's
I mean, it
rant,
sounds,
right? Restaurant.
Oh,
No, it's
see, I did it the opposite.
no, it's restaurant.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, then it's backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eh.
you're too
I can't.
blasé about these things.
No, I can't expect any rules to ever make sense consistently. So I'm not disappointed by it because I don't expect any of the rules to work.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, yeah, Wednesday. You
That's
just have to,
I was just gonna bring that one up.
you know.
Yeah, those type of things don't bother me because they're just like random weird things or whatever. But like when like when it's so close to following the rules, like it's just right there. Because restaurant like should be.
Restaurant.
Yeah.
Wait, so it is the other way though.
It's restaurant.
you
Like
sure?
RANT.
100%.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Producer, could you look that up really quick? Okay. Yeah, we've got validation from the back.
Yeah. Fact
Yeah,
check.
no, okay, I believe it. There's a few words that I pronounce correctly, but I feel really like pompous or that's the wrong word, but like I feel like I shouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Yes.
orangutan.
Oh.
Anyone else say orangutan?
No.
I
Okay, but I
don't.
could see why you would feel uncomfortable.
Right, because
saying
everyone else
that.
says orangutan, and I kind of feel like, okay, at this point, if we all say it that way, can we just
Yeah.
say that's how it's pronounced? But then whenever I'm around like an official
Mm-hmm.
person, they make a big deal, so it feels like
Kind of like
respectful.
bruschetta.
Wait, what?
Ooh, yeah.
Bruschetta.
Bruschetta?
Yeah.
How are you
Bruschetta.
supposed to sound it?
I think it's bruschetta is the right way.
Yeah.
I think.
But with a little more, Italian
yeah.
to it. But yeah.
Or like Sevilla is Sevilla, Spain.
Oh.
But I refuse to say Sevilla because that just sounds like tortilla.
Oh, like it's supposed to be.
If you're in Spain, the city is called Sevilla
Oh,
because it's
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sevilla. But
So who says-
everyone around the world that's not in a Spanish speaker will call
Really?
it Sevilla. Oh. And I feel like an idiot calling it Sevilla, but I also cannot get myself to call it Sevilla.
one of my radio pet peeves is like when a reporter over correctly pronounces like the name of a city. So they'll be like, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't, Sevilla. It's like totally out of the, like
Yeah.
I get like saying it, but it's like they really like just go like full, or like people who pronounce Van Gogh's name correctly. Have you ever heard?
No.
Is it
that?
like Van
that?
Gogh or something?
Yeah, but like more like you're like gagging
Sure,
on
I didn't
something.
even know that.
But people will do that and they'll be, blah, blah, blah. I'm coming to see how next week is a new Van. Like, can we just go with, like we all say go. Can we just go with that?
My go-to example of that is we did a group project on Nike, and we were talking about their competitors, and a guy in my group was pronouncing Adidas the correct German way, which is, I think it's like Adidas. And he just
Oh,
sounded
yeah.
like such a douche when we were like presenting in front of everyone. Like, who cares that you're right? Like, nobody says it this way.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I do feel like at some
funny.
point in time we need to acknowledge like the language has evolved. It's evolved forever, and it's evolved now, and now it's Adidas
Yes.
or orangutan, or okay, the picture like the ancient Europe humanoids with big brows. What do you call those?
I'm all of a sudden blanking on what they're
I
called.
think you want me to say Neanderthal.
Oh.
Right, because that's what it's supposed to be, right?
Right, I think so.
But everyone
we all
says
say
Neanderthal. Yeah, see, that's
Neanderthal.
another one that I feel kind of douchey when I'm like Neanderthal.
I have to say, I'm kind of embarrassed to say, I never even realized that orangutan was orangutan.
Yeah, I
and
just
not
learned
orangutan.
that
Like,
today. Yeah.
And you'll definitely want to verify that before you go. But that's what I've heard multiple times from like, Jane Goodall or whoever I was hanging out
Zoologists,
with and told me that.
Yeah,
But
these official people you brought up.
Yeah.
I'm never hanging out with someone official.
but yeah, so I always say it, but I can never say it without being extremely self-conscious about the fact that I'm saying it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's
interesting.
a lose-lose situation.
What do you guys think about the pronunciation of Ibiza versus Ibiza?
Oh yeah, I don't think I have opportunity to say it too much.
Right,
But I think I would definitely say Ibiza.
right.
So Ibiza is correct.
Ibiza
Oh, I feel like I
is
have a
correct.
lisp when I say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's the Spanish pronunciation of it.
I would have a
Yeah,
tough time throwing the TH in any word, I feel like.
Yeah, it does sound pretty douchey when when you hear somebody else like speaking very American English and then throwing in Ibiza, like it's
Yeah, you just sound like you're trying to be cool,
Yeah.
pretty much. Well, it's like that. There's like a viral TikTok where this girl was talking about like she goes, "Oh, you guys have to try this. It's from Trader Joe's. It's so good. It's cacio e pepe." Oh my, yeah.
What was that supposed to be?
Cacio e pepe? Yeah.
Which is what?
it's
It's like a creamy
and
pepper sauce.
Parmesan.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've even heard of that in any form of the word.
Yeah. It's oh yeah.
I feel like I do say one of these things in this weird way, like Sevilla. I feel like I say something like this in too much of an accent sometimes in normal language. Do you know what I'm talking about? I feel like it would be something Spanish sounding.
Yeah, like your order at a restaurant or something.
That'd be awesome if it's just like something German. Bratwurst!
I'll try to think of what it is. Yeah.
Like whenever I try to do a German accent, I just say something angrily.
really
It's no
loud.
accent.
Aggressive.
Yell it aggressively. A lot of these pronunciation things, stuff like I can even like almost remember being in school in elementary school and like learning something wrong, and then it just like has stuck. Like I have a couple. Okay, these aren't quite school ones. So when I was younger, and you would see commercials on TV for Easter, and you would see eggs and you'd see bunnies. And there was like the Cadbury eggs with the bunny and stuff like that. And so I grew up, not in my conscious, but in my subconscious, thinking that bunnies laid eggs. And to this day,
Yeah.
like if I don't think about it, in the back of my head,
No, they
bunnies
do.
lay
They're
eggs.
one of the only mammals that do.
Oh, see, I was right. But I'll totally like if I was
You
like,
have to,
we're
like,
gonna get
double-
bunnies, I would start thinking about what we're gonna do with the eggs. Like to that extent, or I did it with. I was at the zoo one time, the Point Defiance Zoo, and we're walking around looking at different exhibits, and we get to exhibit. It's outdoors, grassy area, open sky, and there's reindeer in there, and I had the fleeting thought. How do they keep them from flying? I mean, it's one of those like half a second. It's not
Yeah.
like I consciously thinking, but I did be like, how the hell do they?
Can I ask how old you were when this happened?
Oh, like 38,
Wow.
or I had my children with me.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
because it's those things that just are just like,
Yeah.
they
The
just sit there and I
connection.
can't undo it. Or the other one is New Orleans. If you asked me to put it on a map, I could do it no problem. If we talk about it in conversation, it's directly south of Seattle. Somewhere roughly in like Arizona,
Whoa.
New Mexico. Like, and I was
Whoa.
like, if you're like, hey, we're gonna go to New Orleans, I would picture boom, straight south.
Weird.
Until I thought about it, but just subconsciously, and I don't
Do you know why?
It, whenever I first learned it,
It just got mapped the wrong way.
yeah, I
in
don't
your
think
brain.
I like rethinking things. I think like once I learn it, I'm like, all right, I put that there. That's what
Locked
it is
in.
forever.
Wow.
You just prefer it being there. Maybe that's where you
Yeah.
want it.
It's closer. It just feels, you know,
Yeah.
I could get there if I wanted to.
Yeah, it's a 12-hour drive.
Yeah.
I think with New Orleans, like Hurricane Katrina happened when I was like pretty young. So I feel like I'm like, oh, like humid weather, hurricane. Like I just have always
Yeah.
like, I'm just known where it is. I'm just better than you in that way.
Yeah, clearly.
She just knows.
Also, you're saying New Orleans, which I think is correct, but I say New Orleans. How do you guys say it?
I say New Orleans, but I think it's really Nolans, like Nolans or something.
Knowledge.
Nolans, right?
sounded like a
Isn't that what it
douchebag
really
trying
is,
to correct,
though?
yeah.
Right? Nolans. Something like that, I think, is what it truly would be.
Yeah, I think so too.
I recently heard some British podcasters pronouncing Puyallup, and I don't know if you can even imagine how bad that was.
No.
Um,
Can you attempt to?
I think it sounded like Puyallup or something. Like it didn't even really sound like a word you would even attempt with those letters. But they were kind of talking shit about like different city names, and I wanted to say,
Is
like,
that the whole? I was going. Why are they talking about Puyallup in Britain?
oh, because so it's one of my favorite podcasts. You know, one of my first or second favorite podcasts, probably. But they were talking about the Susan Cox Powell story.
Oh,
Or
okay.
Susan Cox Powell. So she's like the woman who went missing in Utah, but her her husband's family, who definitely killed her, like was back
My mom
here.
was on that jury.
Yes,
so I'm
I know.
familiar, Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, they were talking about that case, and so
Oh,
the
okay.
dad and the husband moved back to Puyallup, but hearing them pronounce it was really painful. And they were kind of talking shit about names, but I don't think they had the realization that it's like there's indigenous tribes that a lot of those were names come from. You know.
Yeah, they don't have as much of that over there.
Yeah, I naively didn't realize how many Washington cities are hard to pronounce until I literally have seen TikTok trends of people who are from here, you know, maybe like they're in college and they have an out-of-state friend or something. And yeah, they just give them a list of cities and challenge them to pronounce it. And it's so funny.
Yeah.
Squim is a really good one to watch people try to
Definitely.
pronounce. Yeah.
I could see
Yes.
Issaquah being.
Yeah, which I don't even, some of them I'm like, I don't even think they look hard, but obviously that's coming from a
Yeah,
very
like how
biased
else? I mean, maybe
standpoint.
Issaquah instead
Yeah,
of Issaquah,
but
but
you'd
how else
still
would you
be
pronounce
close.
Well, Brian could figure it out.
I could probably mispronounce it if I tried.
that? And Kelly
Right?
wouldn't care, no matter how you mispronounce it.
I would
She'd just be like,
never
whatever.
bring it up years from that time. No, never. Brian's family does the like measuring cup,
measure,
and
yeah.
what else do
Ooh,
you
what
guys?
part of the country does
Milk.
that come from?
Oh, they also do milk with an E.
Yeah, this feels southern.
I have Canadian,
Measure.
like, I think
Or
milk is kind of a
Midwestern.
Canadian
Midwest.
thing too. Yeah, which that makes sense.
Yeah, measuring cup.
Yeah, my company, we have a lot of locations in like Wisconsin, Illinois, and there's some really we would be made fun of just as much trying to pronounce theirs.
yes.
Like, oh yeah.
Where's Weeby from, your friend?
North Dakota.
Oh my gosh. I literally just like sit there, like just like watching him or like listening to him tell stories, and it's so great.
Is it like Fargo-esque?
Oh, it is so Fargo, like, but it's real. And he was one time telling us this like fascinating story about ice fishing and like them going out and digging, 5 feet into the ice, down into the ice just to go fishing. It was this story that just in his accent and in his way of speaking, honestly, was so entertaining. Could have listened to him all night long. I absolutely love it. It might be my favorite accent.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't get exposed to a lot of people with different accents for so long. Like in college, my friend's mom, she would visit us like every quarter, and she is from New Jersey but has lived in California a long time. So her
Okay.
accent is like very minor at this point, but it's still, I was just like, whoa, am I that, like, obviously I watched like TV and stuff,
But very
I was
sheltered.
like, whoa, I feel like I've met very few people in my life that have like an accent like that, which is crazy. I was, like 22 or something, but yeah, I'm just like, there's not a lot of transplant, like, like friends' parents. I didn't have any friends like that.
Yeah, I feel like outside of TV, growing up, I didn't actually interact with people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty far up in the corner of
Yeah.
the country here, so
True.
you probably get more East Coast, middle.
Yeah. I have one friend who's British, so she doesn't have an accent because she was like 3 or 4 when she moved here, but her parents do. We were on a trip, and my friend Hannah, when you hear someone talking to you with an accent, sometimes you just want to say it back.
Oh, yeah.
And she accidentally, her dad just was, talking about the plan for dinner or something, and she just responded in a British accent, unintentional. It was just like this awkward moment of, because he's like, is she making fun of me? Like, oh man, yeah.
I love that. So I brought up like New Orleans and like things that are wrong in my head, thinking, oh, hey, that's going to spur the car. Everyone else doesn't go with all those other ones, and you're all just like, yeah, you're fucked up. You're pretty stupid.
Oh no, I know I have so many, but I just am so dumb about them. I don't even know what they are.
Yeah, if I had homework to think of it, I'm sure I could come up with them. But I bet they are so embedded in my psyche that I barely know that I'm
Okay,
doing
yeah,
it.
those
you
I
know?
just walk around very conscious of those. Just-
I mean, I don't think I have any of that obvious, but
yeah, because these are straight up like defy the laws of physics and logic and everything like that. Yet they just live in my head. There's weird like math ones too. Like I wasn't paying attention when we did 7 times 8 or something like that. And like it's still a little bit harder than like I can get it for sure, but it still takes like a half a second longer than the other ones.
oh, weird.
Yeah, there's something about
For
when I
me,
learn stuff.
spelling is my biggest one, where I'm like, because the way we learn spelling is like spelling test, right? Like 1 week, it's just, here's your 10 assigned words to memorize. I wish there was a lot more emphasis on just like reading books in school for me, because I think that I would have a much better vocabulary and be a better spelling if I just be a better speller and better grammar, apparently, if I had just read more as a kid.
Well, I feel like word processors or whatever, that might be an
Yeah.
old term, but like typing in the computer where it like underlines in a red as soon as you're wrong, and then I think that actually is way more helpful than like when I was a kid way back in the day. You would write your essay on paper, and then a week later you get it with like red lines and stuff about like what was messed up with it, versus like the instant feedback of as soon as you spell something wrong now. I feel like I would guess that makes you a better speller.
I would think so.
Even though some people might think it makes you a worse speller because, it's doing it for you. But I think
Yeah.
that, like, feedback would probably be helpful.
I think I abuse it too much because at this point, I just type garbage into my phone, and I'm
Yep.
so mad if the iPhone can't figure out what garbage to decipher that into. Like, I'm like, you absolutely know I did this letter and then a couple letters and then this letter. Like, you know what word I'm trying to do. I've done this a million times. So then I just get frustrated that it's not just immediately interpreting.
Oh, yeah, that's
for me.
irritating. Yeah.
So I think I'm actually a much worse speller now than I used to be. But I do agree. I think like seeing handwritten fixes and then a week later, like trying to get that in and
Right.
put it in your brain. No, but with just the iPhone, like just automatically fixing it, I know nothing now.
I wish I could remember the word. I had one time, and it was like a text. Like how you get like a rhythm. You're like, okay, I gotta get this.
Yes.
Like you're worried the other person's gonna sneak in one, and you need to
Yes.
get your point in and stuff like that. And I needed to send this text, and I'm texting, and I couldn't get the word even close enough. Like it took like
Makes
6
me so
tries.
mad.
And I'm like, because sometimes I do it and I'm like, that's close enough, you're stupid. This one was like, I really, really don't know how to spell this word.
Yeah.
And I'm like guessing and I'm like, please, and I'd redo it. I can't remember if I eventually Googled it or just came up with, my impact
synonym.
word to just read over it.
I think the entire time I was pregnant, I tried to say nauseous or nausea like in a text message probably 700 times, and I still have no fucking idea how to spell that word.
Nausea
Either
I
way.
can do.
don't.
Nauseous though.
How do you spell it?
Nausea is Nausea.
Can someone verify?
Producers,
I feel like I might be missing a letter, but yeah.
I literally often
Give
would
me
not
the
even get it close enough. Somehow, there's not that many letters in the word, and it's very logical what they should be.
Yeah.
I could almost never even get it to come up with a
Well,
reasonable
and nauseous sounds
suggestion.
really intimidating. Like I could guess 12 different ways that could potentially go.
Yeah, no. So that was like my kryptonite every single time. I was like, really, really?
Did you find a good synonym?
No, never.
I know, I can't think of one. Like, upset tummy. Like, that doesn't
Oh,
have
like
to say a ring to
You can say
it.
I'm feeling sick.
Sick. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Sick
but
to
then
my
it's
stomach.
like,
But
But
people's
during the
mind
times
could
of
go-
COVID,
yeah.
you can't just say you're sick. You gotta be specific.
And everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, you're pregnant. We're so worried about you now." It's like,
Ooh, I'm
no,
curious.
I'm just throwing up.
I'm wondering if our podcast will get that. Have you seen those warnings on Spotify if you talk about COVID on a podcast?
Oh,
Now that we said that, what if they just they have AI finding the word, we'll get the click here for information.
Consult
Don't believe what Kelly said.
This could be fake news.
just because you're sick doesn't mean you have COVID.
Yeah, do you have it on your phones where it'll do weird, either autocorrects or auto capitalized?
Somehow, one time, I think I typed in "don't" in all capitals with
Yes.
no apostrophe, which I would never do. And now, anytime there's any random combination of letters, it just goes into "don't," but with no punctuation. And it is so maddening. Like, why would that happen?
Yeah.
That's never appropriate.
I'm sure there's somewhere to fix it, but I have multiple things like that where it'll autocorrect
Yes.
to the weirdest, like, or it'll do. I've got like a name, Justin, and you type Justin, and it's all caps every time.
Yes.
That's the name Lily for me. I must have just been excited to text her one day, and now
Yeah.
her contact name is also all caps, so I think it has something to do with that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like I'm yelling
Why would
at her.
it autocorrect to it? That's the thing. Like, even if you happen to type it once, don't in all caps.
Right?
Why would it assume? Okay, this is what
Every
we're doing
time
every
now.
time, forever, for the
Yeah.
rest of eternity.
On my phone, like, DocuSign is like one that like it autocorrects. Like I work at DocuSign, I've worked there for like 7 years, and it's like capital D OCU, capital SIGN. But when I type it out, it's always just full lowercase. The whole thing is, and I've typed it a lot, like over like 7 years, like a lot, and it just always types it out in lowercase. So I have to correct it and like go back and like correct it every single time. That one's
Now,
real
do you
fucking
have to
frustrating for me.
correct it?
No, I don't. I guess you're right.
One thing you'll learn about Brian, maybe you won't. He's very deliberate about his text messaging. Like I am the complete opposite. I send off garbage because if it doesn't correct it, I'm just sending it anyways. Whereas he is like erasing, editing,
Oh, yeah. No, I'm the same
going
way.
back, punctuation, capital letters.
I'm
like
a Kelly for sure.
I just getting it out of there. Whereas
Yeah.
he's so careful and deliberate.
Yeah.
But the text that he sent his parents when I went into labor, though, it's so funny. I have them saved for all eternity because multiple words are just totally wrong, multiple spelling mistakes, and it's so clear he's so frazzled. And to me, that was like the perfect example of like how like frazzled things had gotten. That like this guy who never ever messes up my text messages like just sent stuff off.
I love that you screenshotted that, so you'll always
yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to move away from like full, punctuation, full sentence. Like, if I write it, I write it like it's an email. And like one thing I'll do now, because I think it must have been my kids made fun of me about putting periods at the end.
Oh yeah, like
So,
are
like-
you mad at me or what?
But so I drop the period at the end, but it feels really weird if you're writing two sentences. So I write the first sentence, period, and then write the second sentence, no period, and then I'm like, am I cooler now because I left that second one off? Because it looks really dumb.
Yeah, I don't think I would have an issue with a second sentence period. I feel like they're just being extra harsh on you.
I don't think
'cause
you're
their
supposed to have
dad.
two sentences. Is the problem?
Yeah, that may be the underlying
I
issue.
think that's the
Oh,
thing.
is that really?
I think so. I think if you were
Oh,
cool,
a huge percentage.
I
of
think
my
you're just like
texts are
sending off a
multiple
thing,
full
line,
sentences.
thing, line, thing.
Oh, I'm way
line.
more likely to send someone 6 texts in a row.
Me too.
And I'm like, I used to only do it with like really close friends because I didn't want to annoy people. But now, it's just my texting style.
You're not paying by text
I do it
anymore,
to everyone.
you know?
Maybe that's why I didn't used to do it.
Remember
yeah,
how we used to be
and-
paying? Yeah.
Yeah, there was like a length limit too. I feel.
Oh,
like.
yeah, I think you're right.
There was a length limit.
But when you were saying about just how like you've gotten too reliant on the autocorrect, what I notice is how much I rely on it when I'm Googling something. Because in a text, it's
yeah.
autocorrecting. But first of all, I realize how much I forget to use spaces and accidentally hit the period button. And yeah, it's like if I Google 5 words, at least 3 of them are spelled wrong. It's
Yeah.
I'm like embarrassed, even though no one is
But
witnessing
you know
it but
Google's
me.
going to fix it for you. Someone else has typed the same exact string of
Yes.
gobbledygook, and
Yeah.
then it interprets it into exactly what you need. So.
Yeah, it does turn out fine.
All right, you want to have this experience? This is something I feel very cool about. Do you ever Google something and you can't, like, it's not really been Googled before? There's not a lot of information. Because, like, typically, no matter how obscure it
Right.
is, what size shoe does Homer Simpson wear? Like, someone
Yes.
has forums and, like, a ton of stuff about that. And so it makes it feel like it's kind of cool in a way, like, oh, look how similar we all are. Like, we've all had these thoughts
Mm-hmm.
before. But every once in a while, you have that, like, original thought. And you Google, so you look like you have one.
I don't have one.
You're just
but
excited for me?
Yeah,
so
I was like, I want to see. I want to know what it is. Like, what did you? Yeah, I
Me
want to know like some of
too,
these
'cause I've never
examples.
experienced that ever. I'm very unoriginal compared to you.
Yeah, no,
clearly.
and I would. This would be way more interesting if I could then follow it up with the thing. But it happens very rarely, and I'm like, oh, interesting. No other people have looked into this, or even like you find it and it's just like very like minimal information out there about it. Because typically it's like, just pages
Of course.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not really. I can think of like some stupid technical troubleshooting questions I've Googled before that like don't come up, but I think that's more user error of like, why am I even experiencing that? But I do think I would feel kind of cool, but also like, what is this glitch in the matrix? Like, why is this not populating everywhere else?
That's
So
why
I
it
do
feels
think
cool,
it would be
though.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
I don't
oh,
think
this
I've
is
really had
original
that
thought.
experience.
But then it gets frustrating because then it's like, now I will never get an
Right.
answer.
I have
nowhere to
because
go
what
with
you do
this.
Yeah, if you can't Google it, then
I guess I could just like create a fake wiki, just make
Wiki
shit up. Like, I mean, at that
answers,
point, I'm a
yeah.
world
Oh,
expert.
yeah.
That's how misinformation gets spread. There we go.
I have Googled something over the years that I think has started to return more information. I'm a huge fan of the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation movie. And I don't know if anyone knows that movie really well.
I just
Yeah.
watched it last Christmas for the first time
It's
ever.
coming to
Oh,
town
wow.
here in Seattle as a play.
What? Oh, wow.
You gotta
Okay.
go.
I'm a purist. I don't know if I would be
Yeah.
into, But so anyways, there's this part where Clark gives his boss the same exact wrapped gift as everyone else at the company, apparently.
Yeah.
And I really want to know what that gift is. And I've always wondered. And I do also wonder, like, was it something that was very, like, common and prominent back in that sort of decade and that time where everyone just would have recognized it, so that's why it's a
Right.
funny joke. So I've Googled it a couple times, and more recently I got a little more information, but initially there was other people asking the question. Nobody was able to answer it. Now I think the last time I looked it up, which was a couple years after the first time, I think there's more of a guess of like it's maybe a desk organizer or something very unsatisfying.
Yeah, see,
something that did not.
My take was it wasn't an actual. It was, there wasn't like something it was supposed to be. They just made that shape a box and ha ha ha.
And then everyone got him the same exact thing.
No, I'm saying like the producers of the movie
Got
were
it.
just like, hey, they should all bring the same shape
Okay.
box.
And it's not something we all
Here's
need to
the
know
same shape
culturally.
box, but
Okay.
there's not a secondary joke of what it is. I
Okay.
think it's just, oh, haha, it's the same. That's my guess.
Yeah. So
But that sounds like a perfect opportunity to do what I just said and get online.
that's absolutely true.
Find something like from the 80s or whatever that kind of looks like that shape.
Yes.
Say what it is, make up the backstory, and see
Yes,
if you can
plant it somewhere.
And then a few of us can go on, mark it as helpful.
Yeah. That's
Wait,
pretty good.
so for more context, because I've only seen it once, I don't remember this at all. So you just see the wrapped box, and it's just a very unusual shape.
Yes. So it's something that's about this big. And there's a thing, so there's like a side to it that's maybe like a rectangle that's like a little taller, and then a longer section that's a little shorter. So it does look like something that you can maybe stick on your desk, and maybe there's like pens you could stick in one side. That's a total guess,
Right.
but it's like that general shape. But everybody brought the same item wrapped up
Right.
to him, and and it's very clear that it's a very impersonal relationship with him. I don't know. It just has always kind of Piqued my interest.
Yeah. Well, let us know if you
Yeah.
post something and we will
Okay,
upvote
thank
it or
you.
whatever the forum is.
Okay. So picture you're going to be on a reality TV show. Okay. And don't think about the logistics of life or what. Life
Right.
pauses, you're getting your
Sure.
money, that kind of stuff, and you have to do this. The premise of it is that you're competing against every other person in the United States that is your age. Let's just say your age. Yeah, okay. Your age. And your like pre-existing ability in the thing that I'm going to say.
Okay.
So if anyone's actually like developed skills in this area, they don't count.
Okay.
You have a year to get as good as you can at this and then compete to get as high as you can. The higher you get, the more money you get. So you don't have to win because obviously, you know, there's just some
Okay.
people who are freakishly good, you know, but whatever. You're starting from kind of the same place. So would you pick either high diving? So like Olympic, you're like way up there
Okay,
and you have to do the twists and the thing and you're going to get judged. You have a full year. Let's say you have access, everyone has access to like coaches and stuff like that. So there's no hindrance in there, but it's just like, how good can you get? Stunt piloting. It's like with an old prop plane, you know, with like smoke behind it and that kind of stuff, like a World War II kind of plane, doing the dives and twists and that kind of stuff. And now picture you like actually have to do these things.
Yeah.
I mean, on the high dive, like there's going to be some belly flops in there. There's going to, you know, I don't know how you are with heights, but stunt piloting, there's some danger there. Or the last one was pit crew for NASCAR. And you're actually going to be in a race and it's going to determine whether win or lose, how fast you can go. That kind of thing. So you got to learn those skills, not only learn them, but get to where you are fast. So it'll be like an actual NASCAR driver picks who they think, you know, they would want on their thing. Which of those three skills do you think you would pick to try to get as high as you can ranked against everyone else?
Can I ask a question? Do we want to pretend that there's like, you're not afraid of like dying?
No.
Okay.
No, factor that in. I feel like you can die in all of these fairly easily.
I just feel like I'm more
Yeah.
afraid with one of those. Also, is this question being asked to me or just to
Yes.
them? I already know my answer.
You can go first.
High dive for
Really?
sure.
How come?
I'm really afraid of heights, so it would be hard, but I think it would be great to conquer my fear of heights, and that's the way.
Absolutely.
The pilot thing is my biggest no. It was between high dive and pit crew. But pit crew, other people are relying on me, and high dive, I'm just doing my own thing. So if I mess up, there's so many people that are gonna be mad at me. Like, this could be someone's dream race or something. Now, do I think I'd be the best at it? Because that was obviously the
Yeah,
framing
no,
of
hold
the
on.
question.
Let me clarify on NASCAR.
Yeah.
Because like during the year training period, everyone's just teaching you, supporting you. Like you're not actually in a race or anything. Like so, people are gonna be mad at you. They're gonna be in all of
Okay,
these things.
okay.
Everyone's helping you, and then once we get to the finale, they're just judging who they would want. You never have to do it in a scenario
Okay.
where it actually
Matters.
would ruin someone else's thing.
Got it.
If that changes anything. But also keep in mind, like you're picturing stunt plane, there's a certain amount of danger, but when you first start out, it's going to be you're just going to kind of go, you know, learn, you'll be on a simulator, it's step by step. High dive, you have to jump off that thing and it's going to hurt so bad. Are you even going to go up for a second
She's
high
gonna
dive?
start
Day
at this-
one, they're not taking me
she's
to the
gonna
No,
start
no,
at
but
the
I'm saying
6
like
foot one,
once
yeah.
you get up there
Yeah.
and you get that like smack. Because I mean like the plane, you die or you don't die.
Yeah. I'd rather
Yeah.
be in pain than die. Yeah, it's still, I'll take a belly flop or two, or 10, or 50.
Okay, if you take the dying out of it, just as far as like developing the skill, do you think?
Okay, I have another reason I don't want to do the plain one, and it's because you're talking about,
Tricks.
flipping around, tricks.
I mean, if you get that, I mean, as good as you get might be just doing, one loop to loop or one spin.
Yeah, but okay, one loop to loop. I'm worried it's gonna make me want to throw up. Like I
Oh,
think
yeah,
I
see,
throw
I
up
couldn't do it
easier
'cause
than
of that.
some people, so I think like
Okay, so that's out.
It's out. It's totally out. Yeah.
And then the pit crew.
Yeah, I have less reasons against the pit crew one, but I don't know. I think it'll also be a cool fun fact at parties in the future of like, yeah, I was like I trained high diving for a year. I don't know. I mean, the pit crew story would be cool too, but
Yeah.
I just think it's more unexpected.
I
Well-
love that, like, factoring into what would be cooler to say at parties. Like,
Yeah, it's
that
about
is a good
impressing
thing.
people
That is
in
a
the
good thing to
future.
consider. All right, what would you guys do?
I'm going pit crew for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just envision myself going to like pit school in Charlotte, going to class with like a bunch of good old boys, and like it's a good time. I think it sounds really interesting. Like, and we're doing like mock pit things and like on like old retired race cars and just going out there and trying to do it as fast as we can. That sounds really interesting. Because you're like doing it with other people too. I feel like that would be fun. Like as a team, you guys are getting really good
Nice.
at like replacing tires super fast, and also like gassing up cars with a really big gas can tube
Just
thing.
like shooting.
Yeah. I haven't seen NASCAR in a while, but I imagine they still just, it's like a big tube of gasoline that's how they fuel them up.
Yeah, I feel like a year.
and
I might
then-
get bored of that after a year.
And then what if you? Yeah, and then I think there's also somebody that wipes down the windshield too. Like,
That'd be awesome.
like
That's
you're
for sure.
like you are the fastest windshield wiper there is. Like they're paying you like enough money to like have like a real salary at wiping windshields down. Like that's interesting.
I wasn't
to
aware
me.
that was a guy. Yeah, I did.
There's
I
gotta-
should have looked at all the different like individual roles you could
Yeah,
possibly
true.
have.
Oh, there's definitely got to be a guy. There's stuff flying up.
Yeah. I would say for
on
the
track
show
all the
though,
time.
you've got to master
Oil, yeah.
all of the elements of it.
Well, yeah, just in case somebody goes
Yeah.
down and like you need to step in for windshield
Yeah.
wiper
Oh, yeah.
guy.
True.
Brian's our second best windshield wiper. Get him up there.
Yeah, like, he's not going to be the fastest, but he's going to wipe it down. Like he's going to see when and he's going to get in front of the pace car for sure.
Yeah.
We've been watching the Cars franchise recently, as in the animated one, so I feel like we can
That's
really
why he's
speak
really
to this.
excited.
Yeah.
He's talking about hanging out with the guys and the thing, but it's really about wanting to be in the cartoon.
Yeah,
about
and
you,
the-
Kelly?
And Mater's there, like it's great.
I'm
Whole
going,
crew.
I'm going pit crew too. I think the stunt pilot thing is just totally out. I don't truly know if I have like the actual brain to be a pilot. Like I don't know if I could actually even do it. There's a lot of things in life that I think like anybody could do it. Like anybody could be like a pretty shitty doctor and like I feel like if you really tried
Heart
hard
surgeon.
enough. No. See, I don't think anyone could be a heart surgeon.
Yeah.
I think almost anybody who actually like cared enough to try, I think you get through a really dumb medical school. I think you could. It would take you a while. Like you would have to like take the test over and over again. But if you were willing to do it, I think a lot of people could. Whereas like being a pilot, like there's a bigger like there's a lot of error that if that goes wrong, that's really bad. I don't think a pilot would be for me. The high dive is really interesting, and I do think that sounds fun, and I do think it'd be a fun thing to pull out at parties. I don't like the idea that it would be all on me though. Like, and I'm bringing this back to my semi-professional cheerleading career. You know, as a child. I was never very good at tumbling. I was way better at like stunting when you're with multiple people. So, and I liked that more. I enjoyed that more. So that's why I think it's more like a pit crew. And I think I would have to compete against, so I'm competing against women my age. I think that a woman with like, who's like stronger and maybe even like physically bigger might do better in that type of role. So I think I would have to like beef up. I would have to like really work on my fitness. So it kind of depends on like who I'm competing against.
Yeah,
in that
everybody.
regard. Oh, so not just women.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
everybody.
that's interesting. Then in my head, I just
Yeah, yeah.
assumed
But all
women.
you're looking at is
Oh.
the higher you can get.
Right,
you know what I
right,
mean? You
right.
don't have to be towards the top at all.
Yeah.
But out of the three,
Right.
where could you go
That's true.
higher?
That's a good point. No, I still think pit crew, and I do think if I just had a year to like focus on that consistently and just practice and practice and practice, I do think I could get kind of good at it. And to Brian's point, I think there could be other jobs, like maybe I would be the best windshield wiper, you know?
Okay, I feel like now we need to like actually do this. At some point in time, let's get together.
Yeah.
We'll have a car.
Yep.
You guys will time you running out, jack it up,
Yeah.
switch a tire, clean it. We'll throw some mud on the
Well, no,
windshield.
because that's just once. We have a year to perfect the art.
We can
That's
do
the
it for a
thing.
year. We'll meet once a week.
I'm not saying I'm going to be good out of the box, but like I used to work in my dad's garage with him all the time when I was growing up. you
But
know?
see, now right there, you're gonna have to compete against other people who have that history. It's always like
Yep.
the same starting thing. So
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
narrow down who you're
no,
battling
if
against.
this is my only goal and people are helping me succeed, I think I could practice. I think I'd be more successful there. I think.
I definitely think we have our first like social media clip now with Kelly saying any idiot can be a doctor. Or however she phrased it. It sounds like something hard, not like being a doctor.
No, and that is nothing against. And what I mean to say by that is that not that most doctors are idiots at all. It's just that I think so much of, I don't want to say life, but a lot of things in life are just how much failure are you willing to accept? How many circumstances are already stacked up in your favor that give you the chance to get there? I don't think anybody from any socioeconomic status with any mental capacity can be a doctor. But I think the average person can if they have the right funds, if they have the right backing, if they don't have to work full time, if they can take these entrance exams multiple times and they have tutors. That's what I mean by it.
And is your impression that like the doctors are doing well, or do you kind of think like general practitioner doctors are kind of not doing great to begin with, and that's why?
What do you mean doing great?
Like a heart surgeon, like that's a
Oh.
skill. You got to be good at that.
Yeah.
A general practitioner, like from my own personal experience, you can show up with 40-year-old information and just kind of throw an antibiotic at somebody and like call it good. Like I think there is kind of like this is my own opinion, but there is sort of a pretty low bar in a lot of circumstances for general practitioners versus a specialist or something.
Yes, sorry. And that is what I mean. And that isn't to like say I think a general practitioner isn't deserving and didn't work really hard to get there. I just think that like someone who has natural talent, like that only takes them so far, and you still have to have that tenacity to like take those exams multiple times, and how much are you going to study. And also I think hopefully we all saw this in school. I think there's a small part of it that is like how naturally smart you are or what you might just kind of have already going on. And a lot of it is like, are you willing to figure out how to talk that teacher into giving you the A when really it should have been the B+? And are you willing to like figure out how to make friends with this person because you know that like you guys can work together on assignments and then it's going to enable you to like finish everything versus if you didn't. A lot of it is just like not gaming the system, but figuring out the system and making the system work.
School is a specific skill. You can be good at school.
Yes.
Not necessarily,
Exactly.
Especially when you compare it to physical stuff. Yeah, because it's like, there's the whole like 10,000 hour thing, right? It's like some people, if they put 10,000 hours into like being a good dancer or something, yeah, maybe they'd know all the steps, but they'd still be just like kind of shitty or awkward or something. But yeah, it's like going to medical school, stuff like that. Yes, some people are way more inclined to memorizing information like that, but at the end of the day, it's memorizing information. So a lot more people have like the tools to do something like that, even if it takes more time or hiring tutors, whatever it is.
Eric, to your point about the 40-year-old medical information, Capri just got an ear infection recently, and when you're a baby and you get an ear infection, they still prescribe you bubblegum flavored amoxicillin. I don't know if you guys had that growing up, but that's definitely what I always got prescribed like growing up. And so it hasn't changed at all. Like you get the exact same medicine like 40 years later.
Yeah.
I thought that was very interesting. I was like, same stuff. Like this hasn't changed at all.
Yeah,
but
but
it works.
And is bubblegum really still the most popular flavor? Or are they just assuming? Like I, even as a kid, never liked the flavor of bubblegum.
and I don't feel like people have bubblegum flavored bubblegum anymore. Like I would doubt that's not even like the most common. If you're gonna go
Definitely
get
not.
gum, you don't
No
even
way.
get bubblegum.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, a kid that little, has she even been exposed to that flavor yet? You know?
never.
Like, why would she? You're not going to give her actual gum.
It's so interesting that it is still the prevalent, most popular. thing.
Yeah.
It's exactly like you remember it.
Weird. Eric, I want to know your answer to the question of pit crew.
Oh, yeah,
flight.
I don't know. Those are
High
awful. I mean, I'm so afraid of heights. So the first two are out. I mean, it's got to be pit crew.
I think Picker would be kind of fun. You don't think that would be fun at all?
I'm really nervous around like
Machinery.
machinery, like because
Oh,
I've gotten
okay.
hurt really bad
Okay.
by machinery.
Fair.
So
I'd like to hear this story actually.
about maybe getting hurt bad. Yeah. Well, I've got like you can't see it from here. Let me put it up. There you go. A permanently disfigured finger from I was doing something with this really gnarly. It's kind of like a drill bit, but not like a straight drill. It's got like can't explain very good, but it's like circular. It's like it's like cutting. So like the cutters are around
yeah.
the circle. God, I'm not explaining. I'll try to find an image and like throw it up on the screen for if you're watching this. But it was like gnarly and it's like ripping into stuff. And then I was putting these little pieces in between a vice clamp. So just solid metal or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've got to drill it, take it out, drill it, take it. I'm doing it 1,000 times. My take it out and my drill it got out of sync, and my finger got caught in between the metal and the thing, and like it looked like my finger was gone. Like the end of my, I was like, okay, I don't have an end of my finger anymore, and it actually like grew back pretty. I mean, it's not. I'm not going to hand model anytime soon, but like the parts are still there, just slightly different places. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was just. It was like someone made a finger out of Play-Doh and it just like squished it. It was so terrifying. So that's one. I mean, I've got a million like little ones.
But that's the one that's really making you rethink Pit Crew.
That one jumps out, and then another one where I was using a table saw and this big chunk of plastic got caught and like kicked back
Oh,
and like full
no.
speed, and it hit me in the stomach so hard. Like I just instantly like dropped. I couldn't move for like 10 minutes. I'm sitting there picturing like, okay, I've got internal bleeding.
sure.
Like, and it was like 4 a.m, so I had to go like wake someone up. Hey, can you just like make sure I don't like pass out? And then for like months I had this like hard like knot like inside my stomach somewhere. So that was another one.
Did you have this fear of machinery before these things happened, or did you
Not-
kind of go into it like,
Not bad. I've always been very respectful of it. Like, I'm definitely cautious. I don't like it. I'm very like, I can't just like casually like rip stuff up on the side.
Okay.
Like, I'm very like in tune. This has gotten me to the point where like, and there's a million other like smaller ones where, things just caught or almost like it just, if you use it enough, stuff's going to happen. You look like you're enjoying this way too much.
I was like, this is getting juicy.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
being in wood shop and just walking in and like my like I would just have a pit in my stomach. Like from the instant I was ever around machinery like that, it just makes me feel so scared.
Here's the move. Okay, so if you're young and watching and listening to this, because this is a kid show, and you're in wood shop, here's what I did. Usually for any project that you do, there's like a sample one, and it'll say sample. Take it, go to the belt sander,
And just
sand off the word sample, put on some finish and stuff, turn it in, and look around. Where'd the sample go? Not saying I did that, but if I did, it worked, and I would have gotten an A if I did that, because I didn't want to use this stuff.
It's scary. They should not be allowing 12-year-olds in a public school setting. I think 12-year-olds with like a skilled one-on-one, mentor situation. Absolutely.
Do they still do it?
wood shop?
Yeah.
I mean, when
That's a
I
good
was in junior
question.
high, they did.
Yeah,
I
that
don't even think
surprises
our
me.
high school had wood shop. Maybe I'm wrong.
Because
but-
ours was like just straight up Wild West,
Sequoia,
unsupervised.
right?
Yeah, like
Oh,
just
yeah.
stuff everywhere. Yeah.
No, bad news. And then there was always like really scary lectures in the beginning of
Right,
it too,
yeah. Yeah.
So you just appropriately were just scared as shit going in there.
Yeah. Oh, and usually, I don't know if you had this experience, but I know I'm not the only one because I've talked to other people. The wood teacher will, at the beginning, show you their missing
Yes,
finger
yes.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stayed far away from that class. I took safer electives for sure.
Yeah, I feel like we were forced to.
Yeah.
somehow.
Okay, my dumbest one, though, since you were enjoying this so much.
Yeah,
I was super tired. I don't know, whatever. Who cares? Screw you all for. Yes, this was dumb. I had like a power staple gun thing, like
Yeah.
staples that are like that thick though, and so
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there and I'm blah blah talking or whatever, and like to like staple the thing I had in, like you had to really like push down on it. So I do it upside. I don't even know how I'm like pulling a trigger upside. Like this is how tired I was. Pushing down as hard as I can, and just shot this giant staple through the middle of my hand, which then means you've got to like take pliers and try to like pull it out of like bone and cartilage.
Is that what that means, or does that mean go to the doctor?
That's a very good point. Go to your shitty GP. They're way more equipped to handle this than you are.
I think I probably still have like little marks.
Oh
on
my
it.
God,
I mean,
that
when-
is brutal.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That was one of my dumber ones.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway,
Wow.
so
Thank you.
in this year on the pit crew, I am definitely getting
You're
hurt.
gonna have so many injuries.
But I think I'd hurt myself more high dive.
Yeah.
Like hitting the water. Like, I mean, that would be so painful.
I just
And then
don't,
to try to do it again after you, yeah.
I just don't think the coaches, like, I want to now know, I want to research actual high divers. How much do they like belly flop from up high? Because I just feel like the coach wouldn't take you up there.
But they wouldn't be
if you're
going
doing
from
stuff
0
like that.
to 100 in a year.
That's
That's
so
the thing.
dangerous. Oh, that's
No,
a
but-
good point.
They would have been going throughout their career as a diver. They would have like been inching up. So like those
That's a
belly
good
flops would
point.
have happened at lower levels where
Yeah.
you're going all the way up to the top in that 1 year.
No, but even like once you're even like really good people, they miss their landings. Like it's definitely like you are going to
But-
smack that water.
Okay, you mentioned just like, you're doing as good as you can, like with the plane one you were saying, if it's one loop, that's fine. So with this high dive, I'm not doing
You're
that.
just doing a pencil.
I'm doing one front flip, and then I'm just penciling
Oh, yeah.
down the whole rest
No,
of the
no.
way.
I'm picturing that is what I'm trying to accomplish in a year. I still am picturing me failing miserably. That's how
Oh,
bad
maybe
I
I
think
have
I
way
would be
too
at
high
that.
hopes about myself. I don't know. I used to be able to do a backflip on a trampoline. What's a flip or two on a high dive?
Well, yeah, and if you did cheer, like
Yeah.
I know I've never been able to do a flip. I've never, and I just know it would be, I mean, even getting myself where I could like jump and then just like go straight down and land like feet first would probably be like my accomplishment for the year. So I don't think I'm getting higher. I'm way too motion sick to do the pilot thing. So
I actually think
Yeah.
Brian would be good at high dive because you're a really good swimmer. You're comfortable in water. You have a high pain tolerance. Like you wipe out and you recover pretty quickly. And
Thank
I
you.
think that and
What
like
kind of
you-
extreme sports is Brian doing with all these wipeouts? Now I want to hear these stories.
yeah, if he's wiping out a lot,
Yeah.
living the life he's living, that may
rollerblading
not be a good thing.
well, I was just reminiscing about how we had those scooters in Austin and you ate shit.
Yeah.
Or in San Antonio. Ate total shit and just was bloody. And
Soberly, I'm sure. Yeah.
Totally sober. It was crazy. No, but like on his wakeboard and stuff, he still does some cool shit on his wakeboard and he only gets out there once a year. So I feel like actually you might, if it was a contest amongst us, like you definitely would win high dive, don't you think?
Thank you. Possibly, yeah.
Well, and think
think
about
they
like
got- yeah.
average people. Like there's a ton of people that are going to be like
Yeah.
the me's that are just doing nothing.
I mean, the form might not be there. There's going to be no pointed toes. There's going to be very
Yeah.
little like points for.
And I feel like he was so excited about
artistic
washing the
ability.
windshield.
I
So we should just leave him with that.
I got you.
We don't need to talk
I'm
him
not
out
gonna
of
take it away
it.
from you. I just want to acknowledge. I think you'd be pretty good at that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I remember I did take diving classes like a kid. Like it was like
Oh.
swimming class. You took it during the summer, and but you're just like doing springboard diving stuff. And,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But you're doing simple stuff. You're doing like little flips and then just perfecting your dive straight down, like type of thing.
He does have a good dive.
But-
He's also anti-flexible though. Like he's literally
Oh, yeah.
the least. Like there's something wrong with his
Yeah, so they
joints
do
and
the like
ligaments.
foldy ones.
The pikes.
Yeah.
Pikes.
It's a pike.
Pike is when you fold.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I wouldn't be piking.
Yeah, I
at
could
all.
not.
No,
No,
so that
not
would be
even
a downfall.
close.
I'd be
there.
a half pike at best.
I guess I should also announce that I've never actually successfully done a regular dive. Like, I don't know how to dive. My mom tried to teach us for so long, and it was like the fear of
Do you
committing.
have to plug your nose?
I
have to
no,
plug
I
my
just
nose.
can't dive. I just jump in.
Uh-huh.
I prefer to plug my nose, but I don't need to.
Okay.
But yeah, I've literally never done a dive in my life. So
That's
it
one of my like great.
but everyone else wouldn't have either that I'm competing against,
Right.
right? Okay, cool.
Well, they would have tried as many times as you. I think. I don't know quite
Yeah.
the final thing.
yeah.
Yeah, probably never successfully had done one. That's one of the biggest accomplishments of my whole life is when because I was that person. Like I could not dive, and I finally got where I can kind of jump off the edge of something and dive, or off a springboard. And, not pretty or anything like that, but even like getting myself to go head first was like an
Yeah,
accomplishment.
you should be proud. Cause yeah, when I was a kid, we went to the local pool, and now I don't have like a context. Like a lot of my swimming is like at the lake. Like my condo complex has a pool, but there is no deep end. So yeah, now I guess I just am not even in scenarios where I could give it a shot. Would I give it a shot? Probably not anyway. But
All right, I'll make this easier now. You don't have to get good at anything, like legit, but you have to be in a band, but you're like Milli
Wow.
Vanilling it.
No, I'm out.
No, hold on. You have to, so there's no out.
wait, can you explain what Milli Vanilling it is?
You're
You're lip syncing.
I'm sorry.
Do you know who Milli Vanilli is?
Yes, but I don't know
What are they known for?
hip hop.
Oh no. So
Keep guessing.
So there's a big scandal because they had like hit after hit after hit. They were big time, and they had this like look with the long hair and the cool
Oh.
dance videos, but they were faking it, lip syncing it.
Oh my gosh,
And
I had no idea.
So they like took their Grammys away, and it was like just some less cool looking dudes that actually sang it.
Yeah.
So it was like a big scandal back in the day, back before we had like internet and stuff, and so
Yeah.
like we all just had the one thing that we were all paying attention to in the world. That was the one thing for everybody for a little while.
Wow.
But anyway, so what
Okay.
I'm saying is, you're in the band, you're quote unquote playing an instrument, but all you have to do is get up there and like make the motions. What instrument? So it can be a saxophone, it can be the drums, it can be the bass, it can be electric guitar, whatever it is. You have to get good at looking like you're playing and being entertaining up on stage in the band. What instrument do you pick?
My answer is easy. I used to play the clarinet, so I would definitely choose the saxophone because I already know the hand
I was
position.
going to say clarinet. I don't know if that's going to... I was kind of stretching it with the...
But yeah, similar hand positioning. I could definitely, and even like someone who's never blown on a woodwind instrument doesn't even really know how their mouth should be. That I could do. So yep, that would be it. Yeah.
Saxophone. I like
Yep.
that too. Plus, like, I feel like you wouldn't have to be like doing it all the time
Right.
because you do like your solo. But like a lot of times, a sax in a rock band isn't.
Yeah.
Although, but then you got to figure out what do you do with yourself when it's not your time to play because you're up on that stage. You got to be entertained. Are you dancing?
I would say a good old head bob,
Little
you
head-
know?
yeah,
Yeah, because usually you're wearing like it's like
Yeah.
hanging from a strap around your neck. So yeah, you just gotta hang in there and you're just bobbing along.
Would you do like the drop down to your knees move?
Oh yeah,
or-
oh
okay.
yeah, like just like lean it over, like practically where I'm like upside down, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
then
feel
all
like
the
with
way
your hair
back.
too, you get one going where like you're like doing that and like
Yeah.
your hair's like swooping around.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a good one. All right, do you guys have one?
I refuse.
You all right?
I won't do it. There's literally no instrument. I would know every second that I was even practicing to fake it. I'd be like, there's going to be a flutist in the audience. They're going to know I'm such an imposter. They're going to absolutely see right through me.
What about a keyboard, but it's like tilted, and so you're like this to the audience. Like the audience can't see you, so you
okay.
just have to kind of,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, someone could figure it out, but then you just got to get the vibe.
That's like, okay, that might be the only thing I'd be willing. It's just, I just know the whole time I'd be like, there is a professional pianist in this audience. They absolutely know I'm faking it and full of shit.
Oh, see, I wasn't even getting to the point where I thought I had to like really convince people. It was more just like that I'd be throwing out the vibe. They
No,
wouldn't care that
no,
that was
no. If I'm doing something, I need to do it right.
Yeah,
and so the
yeah.
fact that I know I'm not going to be doing it right, I need to at least
So
fake
keyboard,
it.
your keyboard,
I
your
guess.
sax.
Yeah, and then I'd be electric guitar, and I'd really get into it. I'd play it behind my head, because it'd be during like the solos when I was really shredding, and that were fake solos, obviously. Yeah, so a lot of like behind the head, like playing guitar, and then a lot of like back to back playing guitar with like the other dude who's like,
Oh, yeah.
and then we're like both doing it together, like getting really into it.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that.
What about you?
God, I should think about these before I ask them. Not drums, because I think I'd get exhausted. That sounds
That's
so
kind of bottom of my list.
exhausting.
Yeah.
And it would be hard to not make noise and ruin the vibe. You know what I mean? It ruined drums.
Yeah, they would figure something out.
Yeah,
we're,
like-
we're assuming other people are taking care of
Okay.
the.
There's a high production
You have to like
value.
almost hit everything, but not quite. That would be very difficult. I could almost see bass. I think I'm gravitating towards being a little lazier with this, and that I don't necessarily want to spend because concerts
keyboard if
what
you want.
45 minutes, an hour. But I think bass you kind of want to have that like cool thing. So I just kind of be just sort of like I'm.
Yeah, you're not shredding like Brian.
Yeah.
You're moving slower.
Every once in a while, I want to do a little like how they like which hand does-
No,
Slap
don't.
the bass.
This hand I think does it.
Yeah, just all the way down.
Yeah, like that. Just every once in a while, though. But for the most part, I just like kind of be up there, like just feeling the vibe or whatever.
Yeah, so there's no stakes here, like we're trying to convince one person or anything. It's just general.
No, it's just my own integrity,
vibes.
and I know that I'm a fraud. That's
I
enough,
get that.
you
Is
guys.
singing on the table like just lip syncing? What about that, Kelly?
I was thinking that.
Absolutely not.
Because if it's a word you know all the words
I
to,
refuse.
a song, I mean, why not?
Again, real singers are gonna know.
No, but there's a track and you're silent.
We're gonna know.
You don't feel like you can lip sync?
No.
Really?
No.
Tambourine.
Triangle.
Maybe a tambourine.
Yeah,
That feels like I could
right?
beat that.
Just a little
That doesn't seem too hard.
attitude. Yeah.
But
I don't know why I think tambourine players have attitude.
Although if you're off,
Well, no,
like
it wouldn't
because
make
it's so simple, like if you're off, it's gonna be very obvious you're off. Ching.
If I can learn to pit crew, I can learn to tambourine.
We would practice.
That's a great slogan. You need like an inspirational poster.
Yeah, I want a T-shirt that
If I
says
can
that.
learn the pit crew, I can learn the tambourine.
Yeah, I feel like that combination. I feel like we'd be pretty unstoppable. We just need a
God.
drummer.
All right, I'm gonna drop this down to no skill necessary whatsoever.
Okay.
You are part of an entourage. So you don't need to have any skill or talent.
Yeah.
You are just one of the people that goes around and hangs out with someone you know.
Yeah.
Would you want to be in the entourage of a famous musician, athlete, actor, politician, or influencer? Now picture like, you know, you're going to their events, you're going to the whatever media stuff they do, whatever vacations, whatever their schedules for the year. So athletes, you know, they may have time off. Musicians, you're touring, you're in the recording studio. Politicians, you have campaign season.
Okay, I think
Influencer.
I have my answer.
All right.
Okay.
I do influencer for sure.
Ooh, okay, why?
Really?
Yeah. Because a lot of times they live a life of leisure. Sure, they're working, but like, I feel like I could be in that world easier. Like, I could slip into an influencer world a little bit easier in terms of like, I think I understand how a lot of social media stuff works. Whereas, I think following around an athlete would be really, really fun. But I don't know that there's any sport I would be like so interested in that I would want that to be my whole life all year round, and like follow that from a schedule and everything.
Yeah.
Definitely not politician. That'd be way too stressful. And musician, again, I just can't fake it. I'm not that interested. I can't really fake it. So I think influencer would be great. We'd be like going on vacations,
Brand trips.
brand trips. We'd be
Yeah.
going to like
Fun
dumb
parties.
little things, and we'd be trying out snacks and making videos.
My only concern would be because, like, if you see an influencer from the outside, you're kind of seeing the little clips
the curated
My
version.
picture is that it would be kind of stressful in the sense of like you're always looking like you would. And I don't know, like, do they just kind of grab their piece of content and they're good, or are they like constantly thinking, oh, how can and you never get to like just
Enjoy something.
chill?
So I wouldn't want to be the influencer. So I'd be
Okay, so
happy
your
to be
picture
the
you can kind of
entourage.
chill. And,
Yeah, I figured I'd be chilling, but yeah, they're the ones stressing all the
Okay.
time, and I'm probably sitting there doing like take after take after take of them like doing their like casual, candid photos.
yeah.
But I think I'd be okay with that. Sounds
Yeah,
like a
I'm-
stress-free life for me.
Yeah, maybe like you're their childhood best friend and you
Yes.
just like like you're not their assistant, but you
Yes.
help with like getting
Yes.
coffee or
I'm a
whatever, but you also
trusted
just
friend.
enjoy stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a good choice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That would be my second choice. My first choice would be actor, because one, celebrity wise, I would love to meet actors out of any type of
Uh-huh.
celebrity. Two, when I was younger, that's sort of like if I like under different circumstances, like dream job type of thing.
Uh-huh.
Just like the idea of being on a TV set, a movie set, something like that, like would be so much fun. I mean, probably less fun than it looks. I get, but like that's just something I've always wanted to do. I would never want the schedule of going on tour either. I think it'd be like, going to Atlanta for 3 months to shoot a movie or something. That seems like more my speed of
But
like.
let me pause you real quick.
Yeah.
There are press tours.
Yes.
And so,
And I'm
because
good
we're
with- yeah.
picturing, if they have an entourage, they're at the level where they have to be doing the global press tour on their.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that. I just think like for me it's less about the like faking it with Kelly of I'm sure whatever music like I'd like it or whatever, but I don't know, I think I just get bored. Like, cool, you're playing the exact same set list you played in this other city, as opposed to all the interviews are a little different on the press tour, or I don't have to. I just think that would be the most fun.
And then I got to ask too, are you picturing that an influencer has a private jet?
No.
No,
That'd be
'cause-
fun,
Yeah, to
but
me,
no.
that would be one reason to go with like someone who's getting flown around because if you have to travel a lot
Right.
with most of these things, someone who's, not on a bus or on flying commercial or whatever, like the private jet thing. I think that's like my bare minimum
Oh,
of like in this fantasy world where private jets do not harm the environment in any way whatsoever.
right.
That
If you're
to me-
listening, Heidi,
she won't be, don't worry. But yeah, the private jet to me is that's like if you're in an entourage, you need the private jet experience. Otherwise, why are you even in an entourage?
I think the tour bus experience would still be kind of fun. Like, yes, I get sick of it, but it's like, I don't know, I
agree.
feel like I'm at camp or something. You know, it's like, sure, we'd rather be in a 5-star hotel right now, but it's like, there's going to be fun inside jokes and memories that
Yes.
come out of it, as opposed to like everyone's, posting on their Instagram stories in the private jet and just trying to like be cool. I feel like, I mean, I still choose the actor thing, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do think a tour bus could be fun in doses.
Right.
I would definitely do actor as well. I've always been a huge fan of the HBO series Entourage, so my life would be just like
You could fit in there.
yeah, it would be just like the series Entourage.
Yeah.
Like every single episode would be like, oh, is Vince gonna get the supermodel and the movie? He's not gonna get it. And then at the end, he gets the supermodel and he gets a movie and a sequel, and it's amazing. Everyone's like really surprised, and it's awesome. That would be every episode for me in my fantasy scenario where I'm part of an entourage.
Yeah, I totally thought you were
Yeah.
gonna go athlete, but then when you say that, I'm like, yeah, I can picture you right in there.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
Definitely entourage for sure. It'd be great.
Nice.
All right, now we need your answer, Eric.
I think I might have to go politician.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
tell us why.
Because I like the added element of like the stakes of it. You know what I mean? Like you get to go to the cool places and see the things and, kind of that element of, the money power type thing. But then you're also like privy to these backroom conversations about things that like actually matter, and then you can
Yeah.
feel like you're like influencing something like kind of important. I like that where, I mean, as fun as it would be to just like straight up be in someone's entourage, I think after a while you'd be like, all right, this feels like kind of a pointless existence.
Totally.
Especially when you're not even the person like doing the like
Yeah.
thing. Like you're literally just hanging out with someone. I feel like at a certain point that's going to feel kind of empty, but I feel like it'd be frustrating obviously for a million reasons, but I do think being in those like, I was in Washington DC recently and like walking by the White House and you see like, 3 blacked out Escalades come out right in a row and just thinking like, who is it that was just hanging out at the White House and stuff? And so I think running in those circles would be kind of interesting.
And think of all of our choices. Think of all the like crazy secrets we would know.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like whether it's about our person or just the industry in general, or like you were saying, like these backroom conversations. Probably find out things we don't want to know. I'm sure, but
Oh yeah, especially on my.
yeah,
Well, we've been about an hour, I think. Should we wrap it up?
sure, yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, I don't have any final good wrap up.
Yeah, I know. Did you guys have any? I already forget our segment name with the soup to our level or
Oh,
something.
lower our standards?
Yeah. Do you guys have anything you wanted to go over with some guilty pleasures? If not, no worries. But just want to give you the opportunity if you did prepare
I
something.
don't need to. We both thought of things if we were put on the spot.
Oh,
but-
you're being put on the spot right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Lower
like we should say
our
them, and then
standards.
we can cut them out. I guess you guys can
Yeah,
cut
yeah.
them out.
Or I'm going to cut out most of what you're saying. At the end, it's just going to be Savannah and I talking to each other.
It's just like, what about you, Eric?
Eric just
You
asked.
guys are laughing. We'll leave your laughs in when we talk.
Yeah, so for some context, lower our standards. We've asked our guests to arrive with a guilty pleasure, something that maybe not everyone loves, and we want them to convince us to love it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so mine was snapback hats. It sounds kind of
Ooh.
weird, right? But I probably have like 20, 25 of them. And I realized
At
kind of
least.
later in life that it was a really good life hack for me, because I feel it's just a really easy way to make yourself semi-presentable to leave the house very quickly. I feel like Kelly will verify that, like every morning I like wake up and I just have like crazy bedhead. I don't know. I feel like I just must like nestle my head like into my pillow like all night long for some reason, and then I wake up in the morning and I look like like maybe a scientist in a disaster movie who's trying to convince everybody that the disaster is going to happen, you know, like super crazy hair. And then, so I've realized that like snapbacks, it's the easiest life hack to just get on with your day super fast. Just throw on a snapback and then get out the door.
All right, so let me throw this at you here.
Yeah.
Let me put my cards on the table on my resistance so you can try to overcome it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, is there a certain age where it's no longer like? Do you think 90-year-olds should be wearing them, or 100-year like? Because that's kind of my hesitations. I feel like I've aged out of I was never super into it or whatever, but now I feel like it's not the right vibe for a middle-aged guy to be throwing on a snapback.
I couldn't disagree with you more, Eric. I think there's like a snapback for everybody. Because like think about how many like old guys you see and they have like
Army veteran.
Vietnam veteran like hats and like.
I don't think I can pull that off.
Well, okay.
There's something between Vietnam fucking veteran.
Dad hats are like a thing, and dad hats are cool now. Even young kids are wearing what you call dad
All right,
hats
so
now.
put me in a hat.
too.
What would my hat be that I could pull off?
So
I'm not. I can't do the sports thing because it would feel inauthentic.
Yeah. I don't think you're doing a wide brim like this. You're not doing like a flat bill, right?
Agreed.
Right.
No,
yeah,
he's doing more of a dad
it's
style.
It's a curved brim, and it's more. It's not a high.
It's like a cloth, like fully clothed, right?
Yeah. It's more like fitting to your.
But am I
head.
doing like a brand? Am
No,
I
no,
doing
no.
like,
It's just like black or
It
something.
could, yeah, just be
It
like
could
the
just
color
be-
of your shirt or
Yeah,
something.
gray.
Yeah.
Like a weathered gray.
'cause I always
maybe.
picture. I picture Ashton Kutcher on Punk'd, or you know, like a picture like a
Oh,
thing,
with
like,
a trucker hat.
Yeah, to me
Oh,
those
no,
are
no, no, no.
synonymous. Where it's like sports or a funny slogan or a brand. So you're just saying like a straight up like color.
Yeah,
We'll
absolutely.
pull up a picture to show you some inspo.
Yeah.
All right, and so if one were to do this, would you match it? You know, the whole like match your belt to your shoes, your watch, or whatever. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
how do I know like what color to throw on?
I think you just start with black. I think
Yeah, you
just
go
start-
neutral.
black goes
You
with
go
everything.
really neutral
Yeah,
for sure.
And then you just
If you
branch
wanna
out
branch
from
out
there.
eventually.
Then you go to gray. Then maybe a navy. I feel like there's a lot of.
I feel
things you
like
could go
that
with.
tan kind of like Carhartt
Yeah.
color is in right now. What's that?
Big time.
That would be in.
I don't think you
think
got
you
me
could do-
there, but I'm closer. Like I may try it in a certain scenario. I
Yeah.
still just don't feel like it's.
I mean, and
my
technically
thing.
that's not a snapback, that type of hat. Let's get real. But
But
close
it does
enough.
if it has a snap in the back.
It usually doesn't though. It's usually gonna have one of those like.
Oh, that's true. That's how all my baseball hats are. Yeah.
But still,
Yeah.
it still applies. One advantage of the snapback is that Brian has a huge head, and it fits his big ass head, and I could technically wear that hat. It's not gonna look that good on me, but I could technically wear it because you can cinch it tighter. That's an advantage of a snapback too.
True. Yeah. You don't have to buy that exact.
Yep.
Do you own any like that where you buy your exact size?
I don't anymore because like I found that it's not as functional.
yeah.
My
It's
head
too
is
big.
pretty big, but it's
It's harder
You
to
gotta go to the
find.
specialty store or back room or something.
yeah. Depending on when you get your haircut, they do fit a little bit different, and then the snapback is more functional.
Ooh.
You like snap it up one when you just got faded up. And then
like your
if it's
belt
been a
after
while,
you-
Yes.
and if it's been a while, then you can let one out, Maybe it fits better.
Wow, I didn't think about that with guys. Cause yeah, no matter how long or short my hair is, my hats are fitting me the same.
fluffiness.
So Savannah, before he started talking, what was your thoughts about snapbacks for you, and then also like on guys, and then after he's done talking, did he lower your standards at all?
Ooh, okay. So first of all, I like your brim on snapbacks. I'm a pro snapback person in general, but I'm anti the insanely like flat ones. I just think it looks too like hype beast or something. I don't know.
I'm nodding like I know what that means. I have no idea what that means.
I like the type of hats you wear. Oh, I don't even know. That was a bad term to throw out. But I was pro snapback, and now you've made me even more pro because I wouldn't have thought that you would have. I'm like, oh, well, I have bad hair days. Like my hair's all greasy and jacked
there
up
you
or
go.
something. But
Perfect for that.
I thought you just liked the look of hats. I didn't realize it was to keep yourself from styling your hair. So I'm more convinced. But I
Nice.
was already.
Yeah, so your
I was
standards
a
were already
thumbs
low,
up.
and you made them lower. That's great. Mission accomplished. You have something for us?
Yeah, it's just it's daytime naps.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
sold. Thank you.
Yes. Some people aren't
Okay.
into it. Some people
Oh my
some
God.
people won't do it. But I'll say my ideal daytime nap though is going to be in a bright sunny day where there's actually a lot of like light coming into the room. If it feels kind of hard to fall into a deep sleep because I don't want that personally. But I just want like no responsibilities. I would preferably like to start the nap around like 11 and then be like nothing to do, maybe start getting up around like 2. Because I feel like if you go too early or too late, it kind of ruins the nap
Oh, yeah, a
experience
late
a little
one,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, when I'm just like laying there and I have nothing else to do, I think that for me is like
I
prime.
would have even thought that was something you had to like convince people of. I thought
And
everyone
I
would
think
be-
some people think it's really lazy
I guess so, but
for adults to take naps.
Savannah, were you?
Okay, I definitely don't think it's lazy. I'm not as pro nap as Eric, because I don't know. I'm not a great sleeper anyway, so I would rather save my tiredness and just go to bed early.
Gotcha.
Like when I accidentally fall asleep on the couch and I like wake up, I'm like kind of pissed at myself. But it depends on the context. Like if I'm on vacation, hell yeah, I would love a nap. But if it's like, I only get 2 days of the weekend and it's Saturday and I
You
like
don't wanna,
slept
like, waste
3
it.
hours of the day. Yeah, it just, well, okay, 3 hours is extensive. But if I slept an hour of the day, I just feel like, I mean, it's not like I would have used that time being productive, but I would have watched a TV show I like.
Totally.
So, but have you convinced me? I mean, I'm happy for you that you like napping, and I still like it in some context. So I would say I'm at the same place I was before. Sorry.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I think they're amazing. Yeah, anywhere, anytime, I will take a nap.
Anywhere. That's,
Can you fall asleep like sitting up?
Yeah, yeah.
What
Yeah,
about-
I have a lot.
Really? Yeah. My
I mean, I
friend,
need my head like resting. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
just
yeah.
like be sitting straight up or something like a board, just
On
like
a
be asleep
stool.
or whatever. But yeah, I'll fall asleep on chairs, couches. I love like a good outside nap, like you're
on the grass and
hammock
the
or
suit.
on the
Hammock.
grass or just
Tent.
something.
or a blanket in the
Oh,
grass.
a warm
gosh.
tent.
Yeah.
And you wake up
yeah.
like too hot, but it's almost like a like sauna effect.
That's a big no for me.
Oh,
I don't
love it.
like being hot and just, yeah, I don't like when I sleep especially.
I don't typically, but there's a certain special thing about a hot tent nap. Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I was already
That's it.
with you, but
Okay, good.
All right.
our standards are low. Thank you both for being on.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
And I'll hit the outro music. I don't know if that actually makes it sound lit up.
Ooh.
Yeah, that did look cool.
I don't think I have anything loaded. I can load sounds in. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.